Well, Commercial Mania 42 is in the books. Night one has officially wrapped up, and we had some big surprises, some big returns, and some big announcements. And I think the biggest announcement of all was the Disney sing along that I saw on ESPN three times. I'm pretty excited to pick that one up. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. No, but in all seriousness, WrestleMania 42 Night One is in the books, and I think when John Cena came out, he put it best when he said chaotic, because it was in fact chaotic. So we are gonna in this episode break everything down from night one, including Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton and everything that happened within the main event, as well as all of the title changes, the big winners, the other major matches, and some of the wildest moments from the show. So welcome to the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. I am Mike, joined by Mr. T. Reese and Mr. Sean O'Neill. And fellas, how are we feeling about night one?
Short. That's all I got to say is it felt like it was short as hell.
Yeah, I think, well, for one, the early start was threw me off a little bit. And the fact of, I don't know if they were trying to drag time, but they were letting people drag to the ring. They were letting people just sit in the ring before any wrestling even started. And it did feel, the matches felt short, not the show. The matches felt short, which they were, from my understanding. A lot of the matches were, the women's match with Breakker and Liv was like a total of 6 minutes.
The tag one was 8.
Huh?
The tag one was like 8 and change.
That's insane. You weren't. We. I don't know why. Why was there so much more of a show than wrestling? All these entrances. We all watch WrestleMania because we love the entrances. Either way, we wait for them.
Yeah.
But it seemed like there was more focus on the aesthetics than actual wrestling. Some of the matches were good. Some of them were okay. I don't think there was any bad matches.
No.
But I don't know why. I don't know why they were dragging out the entrances and sitting around, and the advertising. Good Lord. The advertising destroyed this show. If you're paying for Netflix to say all that stuff, why am I still getting ads?
Yep.
I don't understand that.
Mike put it best at the beginning there with calling it Commercial Mania. And it's not just the ridiculous amount of product placement and Michael Cole calling out things, but also just ESPN and Disney themselves. We had to sit through several points where there were like 9 minutes of ESPN and Disney commercials right through the app, not even like a commercial for anything sponsoring WWE. Like, when you have more commercial breaks than you do actual wrestling and event and things during the event, that is 100% a problem. And I know us bitching about it on here and everyone else, because I know everyone else is complaining about it too, isn't going to change anything because it's the state of the world right now and the state of wrestling in general, that you got to make all your money because that's the bottom dollar. But it takes you out of the moment, if I think that's the right way to put it. Like, it kind of ruins the whole flow of things there. And it's like, I don't know, it was just incredibly frustrating. Like you said, there wasn't really a bad match on the card, but there was no continuity to it with the fact that it just kept getting broken up.
Yeah, I agree. So let's obviously talk about that main event, right? Because that was kind of the biggest talking point from the show. And then we'll sort of work our way back and, from the beginning and look at everything else and talk about all the other major stuff. Because obviously the main event was the biggest angle of the show. So we got the entrances, right? Pat McAfee came down first, and then it took a long time. And his entire sort of, walkway to the ring there, he's flipping everybody off in the crowd. And this whole thing just kind of felt a little awkward. And then Randy Orton had a really cool kind of like snake thing that was wrapping around the set, which was really neat to see. He got a big pop when he came out, and he also took a really long time to come down to the ring. But I think that was likely due to the fact that they were needing to set up Cody's entrance, which was actually pretty cool, where they had all of Cody's like old costumes sort of inside glass cases, something similar to what they did with Tiffany Stratton and like the Barbie doll thing that she did last year. which I thought was actually really, really cool, like a really cool callback to like dashing Cody Rhodes and Stardust and everything else like that, which was kind of neat. So in general, like I very much enjoyed the entrances. But with that being said, we obviously, kind of set this thing up, right? So, Pat's in the ring with Randy and, the referee, the ring announcer, and Cody. And Pat McAfee, after he introduces Randy Orton, immediately spikes Cody Rhodes with the microphone, and it kind of led into a 2-on-1 assault as, before the bell even comes to ring, right? So, they sort of plant each other, and then ultimately McAfee finally eats a crossroads to everyone's like, the crowd actually popped for that, which was cool. He got laid out across the commentary table, to which Jelly Roll emerged and ultimately, broke the table in half, splintering him with like an elbow drop. And that, kind of gave the line, which I think we were supposed to hear, which was a good thing, where he said, give these people the match that they paid for. And as soon as I heard him say that, I was like, thank God, right? Like, we're going to get the damn match. There's not going to be any more BS, right? So these guys went for like 22 minutes. And I mean, they both hit each other's finishers. Cody hit the draping DDT on Orton. Orton hit Cody, a crossroads on Cody. They both hit RKO's on each other. And then towards the end of the match, Randy, Cody were both busted open, but Randy, you could kind of tell that like he couldn't see or whatever. And he was kind of like playing a back injury throughout the whole match, which I kind of want to get into with you guys as well. But he RKO'd the referee, I'm assuming thinking that it was Cody Rhodes. Then, he got Cody on an RKO after Cody went for a Cody cutter off the top there, which caused Pat McAfee to come back down, do an incredibly slow 3 count, which was kind of weird. It's like, why don't you just do the 1, 2, 3 really quick? But, I digress. Continuity. So Cody kicked out of that. Orton hit Pat McAfee with the RKO, which, allowed Cody to capitalize into the crossroads for the 1, 2, 3 to pick up the win and retain the WWE Championship. And then after the fact, Randy Orton grabbed the title from Cody, smashed him in the face, hit Cody with the punt kick to stand tall to close out night one of WrestleMania. So I'll pass it over to you first, Reese. What was your reaction to the end of the match? And then how did you feel about the match as a whole?
Um, Again, it dragged and it drove me nuts, the entrances to the ring. And you're right, it could have been a reason why, but it was a theme for all the entrances through the whole night was this slow walk to the ring, which is just insane. Get the carts like they did for the Andre the Giant House, Hulk Hogan one. Just get them on some little golf carts and just ride them to the ring, because this was insane. I think it took away from the match to begin with. So I had no idea what was going on. Like, you had Pat McAfee walking off, flipping off the crowd. I'm like, this just seems cringy, right? It's like, well, why? Why are we even giving him his own entrance? Right? You would have thought he would have came down with Randy at least to Randy's music, but we had an introduction of Pat McAfee, and you already know how we feel. And I get it. Maybe they are trying to play on the wrestling fans' emotions and stuff like that. But I thought the payoff for the match for that, for all that crap in the beginning wasn't really. The whole match was confusing. It was probably one of the most confusing choreographed matches I think I've ever seen. Because I don't know if Randy's really hurt, but there was stuff in the match you're kind of like, okay, it looks like they're kind of staying away from a few things, or they're being very careful in these spots. But I think the way they played out the match worked against them, especially with the crowd. Because then you have Cody doing a Roman Reigns thing where he's completely dominating Randy for almost the entire match. And I'm just like, what? So I'm thinking like, okay, maybe Cody's gonna go heel here. This is what we were waiting to see. At some point he was gonna go heel. And then the way it ended, I'm just like, what was all that for then? What was all that for? There better be some sort of payoff at the end of this, because I thought we would get some sort of payoff here. But that's the part that sucks, is that we keep waiting for some sort of payoff with this to make some sort of sense out of all of it. And WWE has not given us anything. to hang our hats on and really want to pay attention to the storyline now. Because it sounds like to me they're trying to ride this out to the next WrestleMania. Because none of it, I mean, nothing adds up. We got no closing, we got nothing. Randy went right back to being Randy of '09, which he was already doing. So I don't even understand that. So I don't know. The match was fine. Again, I just thought the whatever story they were trying to tell in the match was very confusing.
So, my first question was during Pat McAfee's entrance. We're on the ESPN app. Why are they censoring him flipping off the crowd? Like, we're on a.
I didn't notice that. I noticed them.
Right.
The only time I noticed a censor throughout the entire show was when I believe Jacob Fatu dropped a mother effer, and I caught the censor there. I didn't see them censoring his finger though.
They weren't showing his hands. Like, when he kept turning around to flip off the crowd, they were showing from his wrists down.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Out though, like even halfway down the entrance, it was you can see the flip off somewhere from what I saw.
Yeah, so like it seemed like they were doing some censoring of him. I think Cody's entrance was pretty cool. I think it gave me like some Iron Man vibes, like with the way the suits were and everything, like how Iron Man had his suits all in the tubes. But the match itself, I mean, there were what, about 7 different heel and face turns between the two of them during the match itself. I mean, you had Cody turn heel, then turn face, then turn heel, then turn face again, and then you had Randy turn face, then heel, then back to being a face, then a heel at the end. And it's like, make up your mind. I mean, you don't have to have these guys completely going against what their character is that many times in a match. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it makes it a little bit too extra. And as far as like McAfee and Jelly Roll went, I'm actually kind of happy with the way they did that. I think taking them out of the match at the very beginning, the way they did, was the best way they could have done that. And Jelly Roll basically saying screw TKO and give the people what they actually want here with an actual match was huge. You're right though, Mike. It didn't make sense that Pat didn't do a fast count. Like, you're out there supposed to be helping Randy, and you just come out and do the world's slowest 3 count. Like, zero sense with that.
So a couple of things. I think that I think Randy RKOing McAfee, I'm not actually sure if that will like actually obviously it's not a face turn, right? Because Randy obviously did what he did at the end of the match. I think that was more of Randy just being like, what the F? I'm mad at you because like you should have gotten down here
Yes.
quicker and like handled this, right? So like I think they're gonna explain that one away. Like that's probably how they're gonna do it. But I don't know. I feel like they're not I don't think they turned Cody heel. Like
No.
that is not what happened. I think, Cody was just trying to tap into things a little bit more. And I think that was kind of the story of the match of coming from Cody, right? Was I need to go to that place. I need to do what Stephanie McMahon said a couple of weeks ago, right? In order to be able to be the one to win. And I thought it was, kind of interesting that when CM Punk came out on SmackDown on Friday, he was like, Cody said to him, "Are you going to kick me in the dick too?" Which is almost like foreshadowing what actually happened at the end of this match because, Cody did nail him, right? And ultimately, even though Randy, kind of like, grabbed it early and was like, oh shit, I'm supposed to make it look like I got kicked in the dick. But that was pretty funny. But ultimately, I guess Cody retains, right?
Yeah.
And like that was the biggest shock out of all of this because we all got that wrong on our predictions. All three of us thought Randy was going to win. And I still think Randy is probably going to eventually get the title, but
Yep.
I guess my question is like, is it and Reese, I'll put this one to you first. Is it just as simple as Randy punt kicked Cody, so we need to do another match and all of the other sort of bullshit that happened to get us to this? They were just like, yeah, we're done with all of this, and we're really sorry we did all of this, and this is why we had Jelly Roll just take Pat McAfee out because we're just like, we're really sorry, guys. Here's the match. So, are we just going to get a straight rematch at Backlash? Is that the direction this goes?
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering is whether or not there's another person because it doesn't make any sense to do that whole phone call thing for Pat McAfee. Like that's why we're all confused. Like, why would be Pat McAfee calling? Of all the people in the history of Randy Orton, why Pat McAfee? Why would he be the person on the phone? And then just to completely remove him from the match, which we all wanted, but he really didn't have any. He didn't have anything to do with the match. So this is why it's so confusing. We don't know what's going on. That's why I'm wondering if there's somebody else involved in this. I was hoping for something to happen at the end. Somebody come out of the back or out of the audience or something to give us something. And we didn't. We just got Randy doing what Randy does. And that was a little disappointing. I'm not even lying because I was confused as all hell. I was like, what is going on right now?
Yeah.
This
I mean, we
match
thought for sure it was going to be like Owens or something.
Mm-hmm. But this match made no sense. Just the way they played it out, it didn't make any sense at all. But I'm hoping we get something Monday or what, Friday?
Yeah,
right?
but it'll probably be Friday. But let me
Well,
pose this one.
Don't forget now, not to cut you off. Cody is injured.
Yeah, you get a ball.
Yeah,
real bad.
Mm-hmm. So he's in
concussion. Wait, he is hurt?
Yeah, his eye's all blown out.
Yeah.
Was it from the punt?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Randy really got Sean. Let me pass a question to you real quick. With that though, I mean, obviously, kind of given the way they did all of that, do you think that Teresa's point about there, because we had talked about that while we were watching it, do you expect somebody else to come out? And, do you think, were you like thinking, is it going to be Owens? Is it going to be Dwayne? Like, is somebody else, do you think, going to get involved in this feud? Or do you think that this was WWE saying, like, more or less, we're really sorry we screwed this up. Here's like what you wanted, like to Jelly Roll's point. Like, do you think that was like why they did what they did here?
So I think this is more of a soft reset to the whole thing. I think that if I'm booking this, you had Pat McAfee, who prior to this said if Randy lost, you wouldn't see him involved in this anymore. So Randy lost, so you don't see Pat McAfee involved anymore. Cody takes the punt, which apparently legitimately injured him. I believe I told you last night that my thoughts are Cody taking the punt, we shouldn't see him until like a week before Backlash now. Like, you need to sell the fact that Randy hasn't punted anybody in years because of how dangerous it is. You need to sell that factor. And you can use that as your storyline for this soft reset of this feud. And you have Randy come out on Friday and be like, look, yeah, I know that Cody ended up beating me, but I'm not done with him. Look at what I did to him. And the second he comes back, I'm going to finish this. And you can have like all this come out and be like, no, you did something you shouldn't have. And then when Cody does come back, have him be like, you know what? You tried to take me out permanently. We're finishing this at Backlash. And you have them have their match at Backlash the way that this story should have been set up, and then you have Randy win. It's the perfect reset for it, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I like that.
Well, I mean,
so
do something.
Yeah, go
ahead.
Yeah. So overall, though, and I guess because it's WrestleMania, let's do something a little bit different here. So overall, Reese, before we'll do an overall rating for the show at the end, but overall, what was because this was the main event, how would you rate this as a main event?
Are we doing out of 5?
However you want. A through F or out of 5, whatever you're more comfortable with.
Well, this is why it was so hard to grade this match, because it was so confusing. I probably would give it like a B minus, maybe. Probably a B minus. It's probably the best I can give it, because again, I don't understand the storyline, and I didn't understand how the flow of the match didn't make any sense. I mean, it wasn't a bad match, which is why I'm not giving it like a C or a D.
Right.
But I'd give it a B minus.
Yeah. What about you, Sean?
So the match itself, I would give a B. The outside of the match antics, I would probably give a C. So I'd have to agree with T. You give it an average, I'd go B minus for the whole thing. I think the match itself was saved by the fact that it told it's a good story with Randy selling his potential back issue and the two of them just going at it. And them, like I said, the fact that they handled a lot of the storyline business at the very beginning, I think is the big thing that actually saved this match for me. Like if there would have been more shenanigans, like if McAfee would have been out there for the whole match, I think that would have definitely hurt this whole thing.
Yeah. So following, let's take a step back then to the beginning
What
of
do
the
you give
show.
it though?
Um, I probably agree with you guys. I think B minus sounds about right. Moving to the beginning of the show, then obviously we had the 17-time world champion WrestleMania host. How many dollars was he being paid? T. Reese, John Cena made his entrance, which was kind of funny because he was walking, then he's like, I gotta run. I feel it in me. I gotta run. So he did run, but then he went up the steps and got into the ring and, give a very politician like speech to welcome everybody to WrestleMania, which was cool. It's always good to see Cena. And the show ultimately kicked off with match one, which was I Show Speed and the Vision of Austin Theory and Logan Paul versus the Usos of Jimmy and Jay and Los Angeles Knight. And this match was okay. I wish they would have given it a little bit more time. And that was kind of like sort of the premise of the show in general. Like a lot of these matches, with the exception of the main event and the Seth Gunther match, really didn't get as much time as I feel like they deserved. So this match, I think, got about 10 to 12 minutes. And, sort of the premise of the whole match was kind of like to show off I Show Speed a little bit to the people who are watching this for free on TV. And he got a chance to do a few moves. But ultimately, he made a mistake towards the end of the match, which got Austin Theory kind of annoyed at him, which ultimately led to the face team picking up the win. Then Logan Paul gets in the ring after the fact and is completely, blowing him up, getting his face, tossing him around a little bit, throws him out of the ring, which, allows LA Knight and the faces to come in for the save. They lay him out on the table, and the big moment at the end is I Show Speed, leapfrogging off the top rope onto a, hapless Logan Paul to put him into an announce table, effectively turning him face and, giving the free audience there kind of something to cheer about, I guess. And for his in-ring debut, and I'll let you start off with this one, Sean. For I Show Speed's ring debut, I mean, how do you feel about that? And ultimately, how do you think that this match played out to kind of kick off the show?
So, first of all, to your point, the theme of this whole night one of WrestleMania was, you're correct, 100%. Everything needed at least 5 more minutes. This match, I actually just pulled up the match times for everything so we can talk about that. This match was only 7 minutes long. For a six-man tag match on free TV where you're showcasing a celebrity. Like, I get it. That's probably why it was on the shorter side, because then being on free TV, you had to deal with the actual commercials for that part. But you've made a big deal for the last couple weeks about having I Show Speed come out and his will he, won't he, what's he going to do during the match. And for his limited amount of time in the actual ring, I enjoyed what he did. He played it out pretty funny. And I feel like the way that they ended the match was correct too, having him inadvertently cost his own team, seeing as how he didn't even want to actually be involved with this. I do feel though like they missed an opportunity with the Usos and Knight after they helped him take out Logan Paul to then 1D him, because they forgave him real quick for everything that he did to them. I mean,
Right.
think about it. He still cost them the tag titles inadvertently, and he still took out LA Knight. So I feel like that was a little bit of a missed opportunity there. But overall, like I said earlier, this entire match card for this night wasn't bad. It just wasn't great.
So, Reese, what do you think? What did you think of the match? And then ultimately, where do you think we go from here with these characters?
Um, the match was okay. Actually, I'm gonna be honest with you. I Show Speed actually impressed me. I thought he looked good in the ring. I thought he sold. He sold for people. He did some decent. I mean, he did some decent stuff in the ring. Jumping off the top rope onto the table was. I mean, let's be honest here. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not a wrestler, and he jumped off the top ropes outside onto a table. So, you got to give that guy some credit. Well, let's be honest. IShowSpeed's probably not going to show up again, probably till next WrestleMania, maybe sometime in the middle of the year or something like that. That's probably why they didn't do the whole high five. They didn't take him out at the end of the match because it's pointless. Because I don't think he's coming back. I'm telling you, the travesty to me is the LA Knight situation. Isn't he above being in these tag matches, in these early matches, these mid-card matches by now? Why do we keep? I mean, we talked about this before. It's like he's just thrown in there. This match should have been the Usos versus Division. LA Knight his own match against somebody.
The way it was set up, though, he wasn't even going to be on the card.
Right.
So, I mean, I feel like it was a necessary evil for this to just get him on the card.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm pretty sure. That's why I said he was kind of shoehorned into this thing. So we should have had a match with the Usos versus Division. So we should have had. But
What
doesn't really. He's not really part of that storyline.
I mean, he's been feuding with Division, but so you said you thought that IShowSpeed was going to be done. You don't think we're going to get a match between him and Logan Paul at Backlash?
Probably not.
I don't think so. I think they're just done. I agree with Reese. I think it's just over with. Like, the Vision's going to move on to other things, which we'll talk about in a little bit based on a return we had a few matches later.
Yeah, and also don't forget now, I think WWE or TKO might take a step back with the celebrity stuff. As you can see during that WrestleMania, a lot of the celebrities really didn't have too much involvement in the matches. They were very spotted, low, portions of the show. Nothing really crucial. So I think that had a lot to do with it. That's why I don't think you're going to see him come back. I think WWE needs, like you said, a soft reset for a majority of. They need to do it for probably almost everything, but just for those key matches that we've been watching, I just don't think he's coming back. Usos, I don't know what you're doing with them. I really don't. Are they going to stay a tag team? Are they going to be singles individuals still? I don't know, because they're almost like they're just there because Roman's fighting. Roman's still involved with Division or not Division. CM Punk, which I think. Spoiler alert, I think CM Punk goes heel.
I'm starting to think the same thing too.
The way we didn't get a big turn on this one, we were swerved. I think night 2 is where you're going to get the shock, and I think CM Punk's going to become a heel for that match. But still,
that would be cool.
Bloodline, is the Bloodline even a thing anymore? Is it? I don't know.
Yeah,
there's no focus on that either. I mean, you didn't look at that match and say it was Bloodline versus Vision. It was Usos versus
yeah,
right.
He didn't feel that, so I don't know. I don't have an answer for it because I don't know what WWE's plan is for the rest of these guys. Division, I think they're kind of the injuries has kind of ruined that storyline, and that's why they're probably just kind of hanging around and doing these matches. Now that we've had that return, we're going to discuss soon. That probably should bring things back together a little bit.
That's
but
what I think.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think your point. Sorry, son. 1 second. I think your point about the celebrities is spot on, Reese. I think that WWE is absolutely, you could tell that they were maybe a bit humbled, right, with the ticket sales and the fact that this is like a relatively low draw for WrestleMania, right? I know the ticket prices were outrageous, but given the celebrity involvement and all of the nonsense leading up, the bad booking, the celebrity involvement, the advertisements, the low ticket sales, I think WWE was a bit humbled here, and you could kind of tell a little bit by this. And I think that is one easy way to get back into the good graces of the fans. So, with that, Sean, I'll pass it over to you to kind of close out with your thoughts on this match.
I wanted to make one comment about the celebrity involvement and say that WWE 100% missed an opportunity for the greatest celebrity interference of all time during this match by not having Tom Brady come out and beat up Logan Paul.
Jesus.
100% missed opportunity.
Jeez.
But I think the match itself, I'd probably give a C if I had to rate the match individually. It just it was fun, but it wasn't enough, especially for like an opener on TV that you're supposed to be using to showcase the fact that this is WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to grade that match, yeah, I probably would agree with you, Sean. A C. C's a good. It's pretty average, nothing crazy. I think WB is. I have no complaints about having celebrities in matches, but there shouldn't be part of your main event.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
where your
with you.
problem is.
I'm
Because
with
your
you
main
guys on that.
draw for the entire show.
Yeah.
You probably for that match with the Usos, you probably maybe want to slide a celebrity into that on the other side of that instead of having LA Knight in there, have another celebrity on that side.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
you
Right.
do that with the celebrities. You have these little tongue in cheek moments in wrestling with the celebrities. That's how it's always been. I mean, outside of Mr. T and that debacle, um, I mean, celebrities really shouldn't have any part of your main event draws, and because they're doing two nights, they really shouldn't be part of the main events. You want to
Yeah.
draw people in for each one of those nights, and if you're going to do stuff like that, you're just doing your own self. You're just doing a disservice to yourself.
Yeah. No, you're right. It doesn't make the main events feel box office. It makes the main events feel gimmicky. Right.
Yep.
And that's the difference there. So but let's move on to the second match of the night, which was an unsanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre, who both got awesome entrances, which I really, really liked a lot. Jacob's especially with the dancers that kind of lit the floor on fire for a little bit was pretty damn sweet. This is where I noticed too. And when I pass it over to you guys, I wanted to get your thoughts on it. This is where I kind of noticed that the crowd really sucked, though,
Yep.
was like during this match in particular. Like you're paying all of this money, and the crowd noise just kind of really bummed me out here a little bit because these guys I thought they were killing it. And again, this match kind of had another sort of circumstance if it could have been benefited from another 5 minutes, I think. But from the opening bell of this match, we saw Jacob Fatu pulling tables out from under the ring, tossing weapons into the ring. I mean, this was the one match, unlike the main event, that actually could have benefited from some blood, but there was no blood in this match. But these two guys pummeled each other. Before long, McIntyre took a phone from somebody on the ringside to kind of record a video message while he was punching him, Jacob Fatu in the face, which was, very sort of stereotypical troll Drew McIntyre, which I absolutely love. But these two dudes, they put on a really brutal show, and then, ultimately Jacob Fatu goes out the top ropes to do the crazy moonsault through the table to ultimately pick up the win over Drew McIntyre, who we kind of all knew this was going to happen, as Drew is very likely to go off and film the Highlander movie and kind of be gone for a uh, a few months now, and maybe we'll see what they ultimately do with Drew as he returns. But T, what did you think of the match, and what's your takeaways from this, and where do we go with these guys?
It was an entertaining match. I mean, with these two guys, you knew what type of match you were going to get. And I'll say this: I think it's time for Fatu to get off of these little side weird. Everyone, he should be on a road to a title match. At least I would say by SummerSlam, or if not SummerSlam, he should be lined up for the next WrestleMania for some form of a title, and it needs to be either Intercontinental or it should be one of the WWE titles. That's what it should be for him. I think he's the star right now. I think that WWE is slow rolling him a bit, which I get. We do say they kind of push people out too fast. But I mean, he's been there 2 years now on the
This
main
will be
card.
his, I think it's like, yeah, 2.5. It's his second WrestleMania.
Yeah, so it's time for him to get on some sort of track for a title. Um, but I just know WWE, they're probably going to cross him with the bloodline again and all that nonsense. But Drew is Drew. And I mean, both of those guys performed. They did what they're supposed to do. You're right, Mike. They should have had some sort of blood involved in this match. It's an unsanctioned match. Why would you not have blood in it? If you were worried about leaving the blood for the main event, then maybe you make this match earlier in the night or the next night, where that you can really allow these guys to exploit the match and use everything that's involved in an unsanctioned match. I mean, you're pulling out all kinds of weapons, and not one person was split open. So that was a little puzzling to me. But as far as that, I mean, Drew will probably come back as a babyface, as all the rumors are saying. We'll see about that. And I think Fatu needs to be put on the fast track to start fighting for titles.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And Sean, I want to pose this question to you. I guess, to Reese's point, do you think that this match could have benefited from some more time? And also, do you think that this match was, I mean, for an unsanctioned match, do you think that this match was brutal enough?
So I can answer both of those with one question. For an unsanctioned match, the story of this match for me is it just didn't go far enough. Time wise, it came in at, where was it? 14 minutes, so it was the third longest match on the card. For an unsanctioned match with these two guys who absolutely despise each other, I feel like they should have gone on for another 5 or 6 minutes of just beating the hell out of each other. And then, like, to your guys' point, this is supposed to be an unsanctioned hardcore blood feud match. Where is the over the top violence that you would see, like, from when Drew faced Cody, or when Drew faced Punk? Like, I hate to say it, but I think this was probably my least favorite of Drew's, like, hardcore type stuff. I think that it was a little bit on the weak side, and I don't blame either Fatu or Drew for that. I just don't think that when they planned this one out, they worked hard enough on, like, the spots for it. You know what I mean? I just feel it was lacking a little bit in that regard. But I mean, for the time they were given and some of the stuff they did, it was fun. They went through tables, they hit each other with toolboxes. I mean, hell, you even made a point of, do you remember when the Claymore was a protected finisher? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, I get it. It's a feud, a hardcore feud, but he got hit with multiple finishers. Like, I feel like you got to do something with that. And to T's point, I agree. Fatu needs to be fast tracked into a title picture. Um, Honestly, I think it has to be a world title picture too. I think he's above being in a mid card thing. I think he should definitely be in the Money at the Bank match and potentially be somebody they consider winning it. Even though normally I'm not a big fan of faces winning the Money at the Bank, I think that he would be a very good choice to take that briefcase. But my question is, where do you go with Drew from here? I don't think they did enough to write him off. Like, he didn't leave, like, injured or anything. He was up by the end of the match. So I don't know how they're going to write him off TV to go do his filming. And when he comes back, where do you go with him? I mean, do you actually turn him face? Because I feel like that will hurt him, I think. He does his best work, it feels like, as this grimy troll heel.
I think we have to wait and see what happens on SmackDown this week, right? Like, I have a suspect feeling that Drew is going to get written off on SmackDown this week because he's probably going to do some bullshit with Nick Aldis, and Nick Aldis is going to suspend him. That is probably how they will handle this as far as TV is concerned. Like, either that or him and Jacob will have some kind of crazy nonsense, and Jacob will injure him, right? Like that's probably how they will play this one out. It's to sort of very stereotypical WWE storytelling trope. How they kind of handle those things, right? So, but I guess we'll move on here. But Reese, do you have anything additional you want to add, or any kind of rating for this match?
Well, I mean, this match, you probably give it a B. It was probably, like you said, a little, probably could add a little more time to it. Probably would have pushed up to an A, depending on what they did with that extra time. Um, the thing with Drew, there's a lot you can do with Drew, whether he's a face or a heel. I mean, he can play both sides, and he can still be that. Again, WWE has an issue with heels and baby faces right now because there's no distinguishing any of them. Think about it. How many people are actual heels in the WWE?
Right.
I mean, because if you're going to look at this particular match, Drew can be looked as an anti-hero, this anti-hero type deal where he can just come back with somebody that pissed him off in the past, and depending on that person, he could be the face in that match. He has the ability to do that. Not everybody does. So I think you can go anywhere you want with him. But Fatu, I'll be honest with you, I don't know if I fashion him to a world title. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at it. Let's just say that. I wouldn't argue it. But I do think you need to probably let him start off with the Intercontinental.
Yeah.
Wasn't he already the U.S. champ, though? I mean, does he need another mid-card title?
Yeah, but U.S. belt, does anybody really pay attention to that belt?
I think I think Reese is right about that. I think the U.S. title is like a D tier title. I think it's like, honestly, even though they don't even talk about the tag team titles, I treat the U.S. title as probably the lowest title on the main roster.
It has no importance in the WWE at all. It's just another belt.
They don't
You
give
get
it. They don't
the
give a crap
Intercontinental
about
belt.
it.
Now you're talking. Because now, so I'll be honest with you, that Intercontinental belt and under the men's side of things definitely needs to be brought up a bit. Because there's not been really a whole lot of interesting storylines with that belt.
I
The
mean,
problem,
the IC title religiously gets defended at WrestleMania. The US title never gets defended at WrestleMania. I mean, it did last year, surprisingly, but most years it doesn't.
Yep.
the problem is they can only generally go after the titles that are on the show they're on. So, I mean, unless
Oh,
you're going to move some people around.
yeah.
Which they could do.
Yeah, they move people around after WrestleMania generally every year anyway.
I
Jericho
think
could absolutely go to Raw.
Yeah.
So, but let's move on to the next match, which was the women's fatal four-way match between Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, the irresistible forces of Nia Jax and Lash Legend, and the asterisk Bella Twins. So I loved the entrances here, and I thought the devil on your shoulder, angel on your shoulder, pixie thing that the Alexa and Charlotte did was pretty cool. I really liked the way they looked when they were coming down to the ring. It seemed like Lyra and Bayley kind of goofed their entrances a little bit as they were coming in because you kind of saw them chuckling a little bit as they were sort of making their way in. But their costumes were also really cool as well. And when Nia Unlashed came out, I really liked the kind of like Hellraiser sort of Jason Voorhees masks that they had on. I thought also that was kind of neat and it was a really good look for them as they came out. But obviously the big surprise here, right, was the Bellas came out, Brie came out, followed by Nikki in a crutch. And Nikki, more or less, you could tell she was a little choked up because she kind of did fumble her lines a little bit, but that's okay. But ultimately, it led to the big surprise of the return of Paige to the WWE in this match.
Surprise.
And was that?
Was it a surprise?
Yeah, I mean,
surprise.
the surprise, right? I mean, I kind of wish it wasn't spoiled for me,
Right.
but regardless, though, this was really cool. Like, this was really, really cool to see. And I mean, Paige was the story of this match, right? I mean, it was awesome. And as this match was going on in my mind, and I was talking to Sean, because Sean was, the only one of my crew who was over here yesterday who was like actually a wrestling fan. And I was kind of like, fantasy booking out all of these matches for Paige. Like specifically, I want to see her against AJ Lee, and I want to see her against Becky, and I want to see her against Charlotte, and like all these different things that like I kind of want to happen. So, but it was really cool to see Paige. She looked like great. I mean, she looked like $1 million, and I really, really hope they let her run with some stuff and move her right to the top of the card. Like get her involved in some big money feuds because I don't know how long they're going to have her around for. And with some of the other people who are at the top of this card, I'm really excited to see what they do with her. Put her in a program with Rhea Ripley. Like, oh man, would that be fire? Like that would be a lot of fun. So, but ultimately, obviously, Paige and Brie Bella, immediately will be involved in the women's tag team titles a little bit because they did obviously pick up the win here. And, Paige was very emotional after winning those tag team titles, which was also really, really cool to see. Yeah, so this match, as far as we were into the show at this point, this was my favorite match so far into this show, which was 3 matches deep. I loved everything about this match. The storytelling was great. These women put on a clinic, and I thought the character work in this match, for it being a fatal 4-way tag team match, was absolutely excellent. So, Sean, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously Paige's return not being a surprise, right? But do you think this was the right call here, and what do you think of the match?
Disappointed, like you said, that this was spoiled. I think that would have been a huge WrestleMania moment for it to be an actual surprise for people. But when you see guys and people in the crowd with, oh, Page rules signs, it's like, you shouldn't know that already. Like, it takes away some of the fun here. But in a similar fashion to the story of the night here, 9 minutes for this match, it's a fatal 4-way. You have 8 people out there. Sorry, my math is terrible. I had to think for a second. Eight people out there that this match should have gone on for at least 15 minutes, especially with the quality of the wrestlers in this match. I mean, Brie Bella was probably the one weak link overall in this match. Like, as much as I like to hate on the immovable objects as a tag team, they're still pretty good as wrestlers. And I think Paige being back and them winning the titles, for me, I like that better than if just the Bellas themselves would have won it. I I was always a real big Paige stan. I loved Paige during her first run with WWE, and I am super excited to see her back. And it's not something I ever thought I would see after everything that happened in her first run, and with the neck fusion and everything, and them refusing to ever clear her. She looks fantastic. She looked like she hasn't missed a step in the ring, and I absolutely love this match, which for women's WWE wrestling is kind of rare sometimes. And you're right. Up until this point, I think this was the best match on the card.
Yeah, no, I'm with you with that. So, Reese, I guess I'll have you kind of touch on the same thing. What do you think of Paige specifically, and were there any other standouts for you in this match?
Paige looked like she hasn't never left the ring. I expect to see, usually when they come off of a long hiatus like that, they're a little slower in the ring. They don't do as much. But she was right. Her timing was perfect in the ring for somebody who hasn't been in the WWE ring since what, 2017, right? 2017, 2018, something
Something
like
like
that.
that, yeah.
So, I mean, she looked really good in the ring. I did not expect them to give them the belts, her on her first night back, but it's going to be interesting to see what they do. Do you just push Paige aside and bring Nikki back in? I mean, how are they going to fix that? So there's another storyline that could be developed off of there. You're also, I did like the homage for Bliss coming out with the moth outfit.
Yep.
Yeah, that
That was
was
pretty.
cool.
That was actually one of probably of the night was probably my favorite look. Just because of what the whole meaning was behind it. But overall, I mean, it was good. I don't. After watching what they did, it was a very good match. I think it probably would have been even better if they didn't make it a tornado match. If they had just made everybody have to tag and have their spots, I think you probably could have got a little more, you know, drama and a little more, suspense in the match because you just don't know what's going to happen instead of just waiting for the next person to jump in and waiting for the next person to jump in. I think that match, but again, 9 minutes. And it just sounds like to me they were purposely making these matches long or short to sell ads. That's what this match could have definitely probably could have gone 25, 30 minutes. Especially if you didn't have it a tornado match, just had a straight tag match. Or even if you did like an elimination one, would have even been better too. But overall, it was a good match. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that portion of the show. Ladies, I mean, I want to agree with you on that, Mike, with the match of the night.
No, up to this point, up to this point.
Okay, so yeah, up to that point, then yeah, I would agree with that was the best
No,
match.
this was not the match of the night. This was up to this point the match of the night.
got you. So yeah, I would agree with that. Um, that was a demolition thing that the ladies came out to, those
Yep.
masks. It was just a homage to them. I kind of wish they would have dirtied it up a little bit to kind of give it the the demolition thing. It looked too,
Hmm.
and so like you said, a lot of people were confused by it. They didn't know if it was Jason or what they were trying to represent, but it was actually demolition. So I thought they probably should have dirtied that up a little bit just to
Yeah.
know who it is, what they're trying to do, what message you're trying to come across with. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I mean, I am interested in what Paige is going to do going forward. I think that the women's roster needed this to have her come back because in my brain, I'm thinking of all kinds of things. Because AJ Lee's probably going to be gone for a while after that match. Probably going to wrestle for a minute if she even comes back again. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know how long her contract was set up for. Could have been just up to WrestleMania for all we know. I don't know. But I would love a Paige versus you know who, the man storyline.
Yeah.
I that.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. But just quickly, both of you guys, Sean, will go. You can go first, and then T. What was your overall rating for this one?
I give this one an A. I think the presentation was very good. I think the match, there were very few, if any, botches. Everybody got their moment to shine, and for once, I can say I'm happy to see a Bella with a title.
Well, it's because of what it comes with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I think we're all going to be. We're probably all going to be on the same point. I give it an A. It probably could have been an A plus if it wasn't the tornado match. It's just in my opinion for me. Um, but yeah, I would give it an A. I mean, it's closer to a B plus to an A, just because I kind of wish it wasn't so Royal Rumbly.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of lot of stuff going on in that match, and I think these women deserve to have their spots instead of having it kind of muffled up with all kinds of stuff going on around it. But they had some good spots in this match. I can't be
Yeah. No, for me, this match, the presentation made this not the in-ring, not the in-ring work. I want to stress that. But the presentation of this match was the best match of the night for me. And I loved everything about this. I thought this was absolutely fantastic. I thought these women killed it. And yeah, aces all around for this one. So this took us to we had the Hall of Famers obviously, have the entrance there. And everybody came out. AJ Styles got his moment there to come out to his theme. Stephanie came out. That was fine. There wasn't really anything much to that. Which led us to match four between AJ Lee and Becky Lynch. Again, with the entrances, I thought these were pretty good here as well. Becky Lynch made her entrance to the ring with that the band The Wonder Years, who performed her new theme song, which I really like her theme song a lot. And I've referenced this 1,000 times, but I'm going to reference it 1,001. They made a big thing about this on the WWE Unreal thing, and if you want to learn a little bit more about where this song came from, which actually is pretty cool. Becky speaking to her, her father who passed away and stuff like that, because she got this band to like help her put this song together, which was really kind of neat. So it was really cool to see them do this live. And then, AJ Lee, came out with, a bunch of little girls sort of dressed up in like AJ Lee costume. I'm assuming it was kind of some local Vegas thing or whatever, which was also fine. And it definitely looked like they were both kind of like having the time of their life, sort of just being like, look at this moment. It felt like you could see the smiles coming out of both of them, right? Like as they were making their way to the ring and they really like kind of were basking in the moment here a lot. This match kind of, sort of went through I guess I want to say an expected subplot between Becky Lynch and referee Jessica Carr, who this is sort of like absolutely a thing at this point, and they were kind of at odds throughout the entirety of the match. Ultimately the story sort of broke here when Becky kind of tried to unhook the top turnbuckle, but was stopped by Jessica Carr. AJ Lee, got Becky Lynch into sort of the Black Widow, but Lynch was able to reverse it, sort of violently whipping her around, ultimately hitting her into that exposed turnbuckle, which allowed Lynch to hit the manhandle slam. which only got her a 2 count initially. But then, Lynch and Jessica Carr came to blows a little bit, and Lynch was ultimately ignoring her instructions. More sort of chaos ensued. Lynch removed the turnbuckle pad again, and ultimately had a charging AJ Lee, blast her head sort of into this, which allowed Lynch to hit that second manhandle slam to become your new WWE Women's Intercontinental Champion. So let's break this one down. I believe Sean, you kicked us off on the last one. So
Yep.
Reese, how did you feel about this match? Was this the right booking decision? And do you think this feud is done?
I do think the feud's done. I think it's over. I don't think Becky's going to have the belt for a long period of time. So I think they're going to put her back into the actual world title conversation again because she's about due. I mean, she's done all she can with that Intercontinental belt, which is what we were asking for a few years ago. That you got to put that belt on somebody a little more prominent to make that really mean anything. That particular belt. So I do think AJ Lee's probably going to be gone. You probably won't see her probably for a while, or if she does, again, it'll probably be later in the year or something like that. Um, it was a good match. I mean, I had fun. I mean, it wasn't bad at all by any means. I think it went the way, the best that match could go at this point. Because I think both of these women are now supposed to go on to other things. It's a fine way to end it all. I mean, obviously, it wasn't a clean win by Lynch. I don't know how much of us really care. I do think they're lining up your girl Carr to be a wrestler.
I mean, she does already train in the performance center, so I think you do have a point there.
They're lining her up to be involved in this title and with the women's division in some capacity or some sort. So yeah, I mean, it was a good match. I mean, if I had to grade it, if we're going to grade it, I probably would give it a B. Probably give it a B. Wasn't nothing exciting. Wasn't nothing too crazy. It was just a good, a fairly well performed match. Let's put it like that.
I like it. So, Sean, I've got this one for you on this match, I guess. Given the placement of the matches on the card, and in knowing what we know about what's going to be on the card tonight, right? There is only one women's match on the card tonight, assuming Asuka and Io doesn't happen, which we don't think it's going to happen at this point. Do you think that because we have the tag team match and we had the Liv and Stephanie match, which we'll talk about in a little bit, do you think that this match should have been on today and then ultimately B, what is your take on this specifically? Do you think Becky has a temporary program with Jessica Carr? And do you think that AJ Lee will probably be gone for a little while?
So I think that they definitely could, if they don't add Io and Asuka to today, I think they definitely should have had this match today, just as a rather than having three women's matches one night and then one the next. I think it would have just been a better segmentation of everything. How funny would it be if Jessica Carr was the one to take the Intercontinental title off of Becky? Like, even if she just won it and then lost it the next day, how funny would that be? I think it would be the perfect thing to get Becky back out of into the main title scene again, and I think it would just be absolutely hysterical. I think AJ Lee is probably done, at least for a while. I mean, maybe we'll see her come back again in like some special attraction match, but I don't think her run was ever meant to be anything extended. I think it was just meant to be this short period. And for what it's worth, I think this was a pretty good feud. I mean, it got a little bit tedious towards the end, but this match was everything I expected it to be. I mean, AJ Lee has looked probably the best she has in the ring so far in this one, and it came down to Becky doing what she had to win, even though that involved cheating. And I think that, like T said, I don't think Becky holds the title for super long, but I give this one a B as well. I think the match was fun. Um, Another one that probably could have gone at least a couple minutes. This one only went 8, but with the long entrances and everything, I think that I can look past that on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think considering, right, like to your point about AJ Lee, um, still obviously a little bit of ring rust, right? She's been getting better every time she's been in the ring, but I mean, Becky is a special talent, and Becky was definitely able to carry this match. And I thought the character work that Becky continues to do as a heel, I think is absolutely excellent. Like
Oh yeah.
Becky does a great job in this role that this character that she's playing. So I definitely I give Becky all of the props here. But with that, Reese, do you have anything additional you want to add, or should we kind of pop on to the next match?
Yeah, we can move on to the next match. I think we said everything that could be said.
Okay. So the next match was Gunther versus Seth Rollins, to which I say, as far as wrestling in ring work was concerned, this was the match of the evening,
Yep.
probably by a lot. The one thing I think that this match, and not even the match, but the presentation of this match suffered from, and I think was more or less just a missed opportunity here. Gunther made his way to the ring first, and I think you had a missed opportunity to do something cool with Gunther's entrance. He kind of just got a very sort of standard entrance, which you could have had like a choir or something, which might have been pretty cool to do here. But, I think that's just kind of nitpicking. Seth Rollins' entrance was friggin' awesome. And I loved the jacket with the dry ice in it that was kind of like, smoking out a little bit. And he had those like really dope black contacts in, which was also very, very cool. Reese and I were sort of chatting about that in our group chat a little bit. That was really, really, really cool to see. But this match kind of kicked off right into high gear. Gunther sort of blitzed Rollins right before the bell even rang, picking him up, putting him into a power bomb. Once the match kind of got going, the pace slowed down a little bit, but these guys went for, I think, and Sean, I know you'll tell us the time in a little bit here. These guys went, at least 15 minutes plus here, and I loved everything about this match. And obviously, to nobody's surprise here, the end of this match saw a returning Bron Breakker, which we kind of all called here, come out and blast Seth Rollins with a spear, which allowed Gunther to get him back into the middle of the ring, ultimately deliver the chokeout to have Gunther win, which I loved everything about. And then the end of the match saw Bron Breakker come down one more time, get a little bit too much height on his second spear, and blast Rollins again, only to be embraced at the top of the ramp by Mr. Paul Heyman. So, Sean, I'll let you kick us off on this one. What did you think of the match? Do you think that obviously the booking was right here? And where do we go with these characters now?
So this you got it right. It went 15 minutes. This match did everything that it needed to. I think, like you said, Seth's entrance was awesome. I think what would have been cool for Gunther, like I know they added like career killer to like his name when they flashed that on the screen, but they should give him like an intro package that shows him like retiring the people, like show Cena tapping out, show him pinning AJ Styles. Like I think that would be kind of cool. If you're gonna lean into that, like go all into that. But the match itself, I mean, it was hard hitting. You could tell these guys were putting everything they could into this, and it was the technical masterpiece that I expected it to be out of these two guys. I mean, they're if you look at WWE as a whole, Gunther and Seth are probably two of the best straight up wrestlers on the roster. And the problem going into this was how do you end this match and have everyone still look strong, which is exactly how they did it. Having Gunther win, obviously, but Seth lose through shenanigans doesn't hurt Seth at all. And I think that obviously it sets up our Braun versus Seth going forward now that everyone is back and knock on wood healthy. And I am still of the mind that the favor that Gunther is going to ask Heyman for, which obviously we all know how good those favors go with Heyman, is going to be to take on Brock at SummerSlam.
I like it. T, do you agree with that point? And what did you think of the match and sort of the character work throughout?
Oh, it was an excellent match. The entrances, like you said, Mike, were phenomenal. I enjoyed. I mean, I'll be honest with you, the Gunther, I wasn't even mad at that either, because that's just who he is. He's just about business. There's no
Yeah.
flashiness about him, so it plays with his character. You're right; they could have probably threw a choir up there or something like that, which is fine. But I'm fine with the Gunther entrance. Um, but the Seth entrance was pretty damn good. That was fun. That was fun to watch him walk to the ring. And I was remember watching him. I'm trying to look at his eyes. I'm like, does he have contacts in? What's going on? Is it my TV? Why does his eyes look like that? And sure enough, yeah, he had black contacts. Those are pretty dope. It was an excellent match. I mean, you can't be. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything bad you can say about this match.
No.
Frankly, I do hope that they do circle back. I don't, because does this really end the storyline for Gunther and Seth? Because Gunther just put his nose in the business too,
Yeah, no.
without any answer for it. So this storyline is still open. Let's not forget that. Seth still hasn't, Gunther hasn't answered for what he did to Seth.
Yep.
So my question is, are we going to see another faction out of Seth after this, being that Bron Breakker is returned? Do some of these call-ups that are rumored to happen Monday night or Friday or whatever, are we going to angle now Seth to have his own faction again? So that's going to be fun to see. I can't be mad at it. It was a great match. You're right, Sean, that these are two of the best wrestlers, performers in the WWE. I don't think I've ever seen a bad match out of either one of these guys their entire careers. I don't think I've seen anything that I can say was a really bad match. So yeah, this match I give an A+ all the
Yep.
way down, because I mean, even though we expected, Bron Breakker to return, I'm fine with that. He does need to lower his spear a little bit, because I thought that he was about to out. I mean, I thought his head hit the barricade. I thought
Yeah.
he hit first in that barricade. He was going to get up, like trying to shake his head from hitting his head, but I guess he just missed it. Maybe he just didn't hit it hard enough. But yeah, I mean, it brings an intensity to this rivalry and storyline. So it'd be interesting to see what they do with Seth after this. I don't think you're going to have Seth fight Braun and them without help.
Yeah.
I just don't see that happening. So I do expect some sort of another stable to go underneath Seth to compete against the division.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think I agree with you, and I think Seth is going to need help, right? Because especially because we talked about this earlier, we kind of alluded to it. Braun is going to kind of get the band back together, right, and sort of get these guys back on track, I think, and that's probably the right thing to do. And they should really start to run roughshod over Monday Night Raw. Like that is absolutely the right thing to do with your top heel faction on Monday Night Raw. Like just have them run roughshod all over Monday Night Raw. So yeah, I'm definitely completely with you on that. So Reese, I'm sorry, what did you say your rating was for this match? A+?
Well, I gave this an A+. I mean, you can't be mad at this at all. Nobody really lost any face value because of this match. It ended, obviously, like I said, the way we thought it was going to probably somehow end with Breakker being involved in it. So yeah, I give this match an A+.
Sean.
100% agree. I think that the only thing that could have made this match better is if it would have been in the Tokyo Dome.
So this takes us to the semi-main event here, which is the last match we'll talk about for today. And the one thing that obviously happened as well, that the only other thing of note that happened on the WrestleMania was we finally got the return, if you will, of Bianca Belair, who got her WrestleMania entrance, which was really cool. She came out of the ring as John Cena was to announce the attendance and did, in fact, reveal that she is, in fact, pregnant. So happy for her. This was a really nice moment. It was really good to see. Um, Still looked like the finger was a little taped up, but good for her, good for Montez. Congratulations to both of them. And this was obviously like this was really cool to see for both of them, so I was very pleased to see this. But the match itself between Liv Morgan and Stephanie Becker, Liv got her sort of lip syncing full length entrance here to her weird new music video thing, which was kind of like, all right, Liv, I guess like we're gonna just sort of go full bore into this, but that was okay. I didn't. I mean, Stephanie was fine. Like her entrance was just sort of nothing, you know. But overall, I think that of all of the matches on the show, this is the one that could have benefited from more time because this match felt way too short, way too rushed, and it just I don't think it ever was able to even get into its like second gear, if you will, right? Like, Stephanie kind of had the advantage early on. She hit the devil's kiss because of course she was going to hit the devil's kiss in this match. And it just seemed like as soon as this got going, there was the Judgment Day, there was the interference, and I don't know. There was just nothing about this match that I was just kind of like, oh, here we go, right? Like it seemed for a second that Reese, you were actually going to be right and Stephanie was going to retain. But because the Judgment Day did kind of ultimately screw up the interference like towards the end of this match, but then Liv just kind of hit the Oblivion and won, like right there. And I was kind of like, okay, like I guess that's it, right? So I think this match just desperately needed more time, but ultimately, I guess let me ask you on this one, Reese, to kick us off. Was this the right booking decision? And I guess where do we go with these characters now? Do we care about where we go with these characters now?
That's a tough one. That's a very tough one. Let me just fix my camera here real quick. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So the Liv situation is I don't know what else you do with Liv right now, right? Like who else is she supposed to go up against? I mean, you're not going to have her go up against Becky. One of them got to turn face in order to do that. And Judgment Day isn't about being a face or even they're more heelish than anything. So I, I don't know where you go. I thought the match definitely needed more time because I thought it did them a disservice in this match. I thought Stephanie was I she put on some moves I'd never seen her do before in that match, which was pretty fun. But you're right. That match was like it was rushed. And can I just say this real quick? Just get on my soapbox. This is what happens when you make your ticket prices the amount they are. Because those are the type of fans you get who don't know how to cheer, don't know when to cheer, don't even, they're just there to be on a camera. The whole front row of that WrestleMania was all celebrities and athletes. And they're all too busy looking at their social media and smiling at the camera and stuff.
George Kittle chugging beer.
Right. I mean, that's all he can do because he can't stay on the football field. He can sure make a WrestleMania, but the man can't stay on the football field, can he? Don't say more about him. Like, dude, you're more interested in showing up to a wrestling event than you are to show up in the football field. But that crowd was so bad the whole night.
Yep.
The whole night. I'm just like, is this even WrestleMania? I'm not even hearing a sound at some points. During this match, there was hardly any cheering. No, it seemed like everyone in the arena had no interest in this match at all. And the crowd is what helps these matches too. And if you're not getting the crowd involved in it, what's the point? But the crowd rule. I'm be honest with you. That's probably one of the main reasons why this night one probably went the way it did too. The way we feel about it is because there was no crowd really involved in these matches. You didn't hear it too much. I mean, other than the Cody and Randy situation, every so often you get the boos, you get the cheers. Really, the crowd wasn't really involved in too many of these matches. Think about it. Can you name a match where the crowd just exploded, other than Paige coming out? I'm sorry.
Paige.
Outside of Paige, that crowd was dead. That crowd was it was so boring listening to the crowd. They kind of ruined the night too. So TKO, stop. Okay, it's wrestling. You guys are taking it way too serious when it comes to the money situation. The money will be there no matter what. As long as you put on a good show, people are going to pay to see. You don't need to make exorbitant prices. I mean, think about it. They're not even getting like A-list celebrities in these matches either. Think about that. I mean, you're not seeing DiCaprio come into a wrestling match. some of these high-end celebrities. These are just basketball players, football players, a couple of singers. It's not like you're getting all these people. So it's just, I don't know. I think they kind of ruined the night one too. We'll see how night two goes. Maybe the crowd livens up a little bit, having a few drinks after last night's show. Maybe they'll come back out and really start cheering. But yeah, this match it seemed like it was missing something, right? Didn't it feel like there was something missing in this match? Like there was supposed to be something else that happened here, and maybe it just last minute got written off. It's just the way it ended. It just ended abruptly. I didn't expect it to end like that. I thought they would. We knew that the ladies would get involved in the match, but I didn't think it would just end as soon as they got involved. That's the only thing that surprised me. I mean, if I were to give the match anything, I'd probably give it a C. I'll be honest with you. I'd probably give it a C. I don't think there was anything great. I don't think there was anything bad. It was just average. It just another match of the night. I thought this match was going to, actually, I thought this match would probably be like a little later in the night. Maybe if you even had this match, well, again, it's probably because of the timing of the match, you probably would lead up to the main event with this match. Because there's a title.
Wasn't this the second last match?
Right. No, it was like the third, right?
No, I thought
this was the second last match of the night.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. See what I'm saying? How forgettable it was?
Yeah, there wasn't anything memorable.
I'll be honest with you. It's because it took 35 minutes for the next match to start after that. That's why I'm thinking this match was earlier in the night, because it took forever for the next match, the main event, to come out.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. And I think this I hate to blame the fans, right? But I really just feel like you're paying all that money to come and see WrestleMania. And like the SmackDown, especially before this, also really suffered from this too a little bit. The crowd was just not into this at all. And Reese, your points, your points are absolutely valid. And I think, Sean, I guess let me put this to you. What did you think of the match? But ultimately, do you agree? I mean, do you think that this match needed something else, right, to like kind of get it over the hump?
Yes, the problem is I don't know exactly what else this match needed, but it needed something. Like it just I don't even know how to put into words what I want to say. I agree with Terrence. It was definitely a C. It just didn't really seem all that exciting to me. You know what I mean? Like Stephanie, it's the story of Stephanie Vaquer's title run. It just feels like they completely dropped the ball with her run this time, and it has me very worried about where she's going to go now that she's dropped the title, and what they're going to do with Liv, because hopefully now that Liv has the title, maybe we'll see something different and they'll be able to bring a little bit of prestige back. But I don't have a whole lot of confidence in them righting the ship as far as this goes, because it was more of the same with Judgment Day shenanigans. It was just overall more of the same, and I think that was the big problem I had with it. There wasn't anything to be overly excited about. And this one was the biggest travesty at only 7 minutes long. Like, these two are, I mean, Stephanie Vaquer is one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and Liv has shown that she can go in long matches and look very good. And you give them 7 minutes? Like, there was nothing memorable about it. It just, if we look back at this WrestleMania next year, unless someone brings it up, I probably won't even remember this match was on it.
Yeah, you're 100% right with that. That's a very good point. And I don't think, like, again, I forgot that this match was second to last, considering the time frame it took from that match to go into the next match. We got no payoff with that match on the next one. There's probably the last hour of the show was completely forgettable.
Yeah.
It was forgettable, and it was frustrating. And I think that the way they ended, they did the same thing last year, didn't they? Night one. Wasn't night one kind of?
Night one ended with Punk and Cody, or not Punk, Roman, and Seth.
Yeah.
So it had a good ending.
Yeah,
But
they had a good ending on that, but most of the other cards weren't all that spectacular. I think it was.
I think part of the problem too is what you brought up. This crowd, it was the same story as last year. The Vegas crowd is just I don't know if it's because you have a lot of people that aren't like your normal WWE fans showing up for WrestleMania,
It
but
is what.
it's felt off the last 2 years in Vegas.
Yeah, it's the price point will is pretty much defines the crowd you're going to have there. So at that price point, you're not going to have real wrestling fans there. There'll be some, but the majority of the people there are just people who have the money to pay for that. They're not there for that. They're there to be on the cameras. As you can see with the celebrities and all those people, they flash on TV. Even Dion Dawkins was there. We all seen Dion there. I don't understand. I mean, again, I know they're trying to make money, but there's such an easier way for them to make money with this stuff. Such an easier way to make money. You only had 50,000 people at WrestleMania. Wasn't that like a low?
It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure HHH will tell everybody how profitable everything was later on tonight, but I digress.
But they were announcing it like it was like it was like some sort of record-breaking crowd, and I'm like, there was only 50,000 people. I mean, if you guys want to, put your hat on that, then fine. But it didn't even sound like even 50,000 people were even in that arena that last night. I don't know. The whole night was just weird and off. I don't know.
So what's your final rating for the show then?
Huh?
What's your final rating for night one then?
Uh, well, I mean, if I had to tally everything up, it probably would average out to probably a B minus. Probably a B minus.
Sean?
That's probably the highest it could go for me.
I think I would agree. I think that the show did enough to be just above average and didn't screw up that much other than the BS with the commercials and all that,
Safe.
which
That's
I
the
have a
word.
feeling we're going to see more of tonight, unfortunately, due to the fact of it just being the story of this year. Hopefully, WWE takes this as a learning lesson, though, and maybe next year they sort of right the ship on that.
It was a very safe night. Let's
Yeah,
put it that way. Very safe.
Yeah. I think you guys are both right. I think they did a lot right, but I think they also did a lot wrong. But I think one of the things, unfortunately, we just kind of need to move past at this point is the commercial stuff, right? I mean, that is just going to be the way it's going to be, right? Like it's like anything else, until something actually happens that kind of forces this to change, you know, I don't want to get on a soapbox too long here, but it's like anything else, right? Like when your favorite restaurant gets bought out by an equity fund and suddenly the recipe changes and suddenly the food gets worse, the quality gets worse, the service gets worse, and it all becomes in line to make the bottom dollar. I think of places like Smoky Bones Barbecue, right? Which had 1,200 locations across the United States and now has like 200, which when it first opened, it was awesome, and everybody loved it. Owner owned barbecue recipe and everything was amazing. And I know this is a random example, but that's kind of my point, right? Like you see it all the time, these big corporations get behind these things and then all of a sudden it gets worse because it's not a mom and pop enterprise anymore. It's not a McMahon enterprise anymore. And I'm not saying things were better under Vince because Vince was a lunatic, but it should be expected that it's going to be different now. And until they get to that point where the product actually starts to suffer and the money starts to suffer, that is the only time we're going to see a change. So I think we need to kind of expect that for the next little while because I think it's just going to kind of be how it is. So I agree with both of you. And I think my final rating for the show would probably also be somewhere in the B minus to C plus range. So hopefully tonight they can do a better job and kind of improve some things. And, we will have some good matches tonight. We might have some stinkers as well. I think tonight is going to be very interesting because some of the matches seem to me like they're going to be very short. So I don't really know, with only 6 matches on the card tonight. Sean, you might have been right with what you said earlier, where this might be done at 8:30. So I guess we'll see. But that was WrestleMania night one, and that was our show. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this podcast. We're gonna have another one for you guys breaking down night two tomorrow. So go out, enjoy WrestleMania, enjoy that Sabres playoff game that is tonight. It is gonna be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to breaking it all down for you guys. So with that, please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support. And I have been Mike, joined by Mr. T. Reese and Sean O'Neill. Everyone, have a fantastic day. Enjoy WrestleMania Night 2, and take care.